File select. Story select.
Yo gamers, I'm Blueman, and today I'm going to be talking about Sonic Adventure 2. The beginning is a bit longer than usual, so if you want to get immediately into the video, you can skip to the desired time frame. Yo gamers, I'm Blueman, and today I want to wish all of you happy holidays. This was supposed to be the holiday video. That didn't happen. No matter what you celebrate, I hope this time of year is good for you, your family, and your friends. With that though, I think we're going to start talking about Sonic Adventure 2, another one of my favorite games of all time. Specifically though, this will be Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, as it's the version I own on Steam, and it's where I recorded all my footage for today's video. So, what took this video so long to make? Simply put, I've been lazy, honestly. I was preoccupied with just so many other things, not to mention Thanksgiving and holiday shopping, and yeah, it's been pretty busy, other than being lazy, so double whammy. Before we get too far into this, I don't think I'm going to talk about...
Blueman. Huh? I finally found you. Excuse me, but who are you? And why are you in my... You'll see who the ultimate victor really is. No, that's great. It's really great, but how'd you get in my house? You don't know how long I've been searching for you. My rival. Whoa, wait, what? Rival? Oh man, the last time I had a rival, I was like 11. Finish up your segment. I want to talk about Dark Story. Hey, wait, what? No, dude. You're gonna kill all the momentum of the video. I have everything already structured in place, and you can't just butt in with... But I have this. That's the Chaos Emerald! It is. And I will be the one who loves Sonic Adventure 2 more. I guarantee it. Sure, I guess. Why did it have to be a Redman? Also, I'm going to need a better setup than this. You want a better setup? Well, this is what you got. This is my setup. You can't really change my setup unless you're paying up for it. I mean, I'm all for that, by the way. You can go ahead, but this is what I'm working on. Control! Holy! Whoa! Wait, you actually changed my whole workstation? Yes, it's better than that garbage you're using before. Okay, but time out. What is this? I didn't do that. Right. So you just transformed my whole workstation, and you didn't put this here. Yep, I totally believe that. Oh, on second glance, I kind of dig this, yeah. See, come here, check this out.
Here it is, my brand new setup. There's so much more room here, and there's even a second monitor now. That's something you're not going to hear me complaining about. It's so much of an upgrade over my last workstation for sure. And check this out. It's even got this baller-looking floor mat that a friend sent to me. I love how it looks, by the way. I do think the wiring under here needs to get kind of organized better, but we'll do that later.
I mean, this setup's going to take a little bit of getting used to, so how about we discuss some of the characters? Yes.
So one day back in, I don't know, I want to say 2002, my parents brought home this game called Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Almost this exact version, hilariously enough, but it was for the GameCube instead. I played a very good chunk on that GameCube copy, so much so I think it broke at one point, and I was super sad about that, but anyway. The gameplay is what kept me playing, obviously, but I also really enjoyed the characters. All of them. Which, by the way, that reminds me. There are two different paths to play for Sonic Adventure 2. Hero and Dark Story, with 3 characters for Hero and 3 characters for Dark. And since 3 seems to be the popular number at the moment, there's 3 types of missions too. Action stages, where you play as Sonic or Shadow, mech stages, where you play as Tails or Dr. Eggman, and lastly, hunting stages, where you play as Knuckles or Rouge. Mechanically speaking, they're just a different set of levels, characters, and story for the Hero and Dark stories, respectively. They just give a different perspective and experience from the other side. One thing I should mention is the Dark story actually begins before the Hero story does. But that doesn't mean you need to play it before the Hero story. It doesn't matter which one you play first, since it just shows you what the Hero or Dark side does during the story. It's intended you play both to learn the full story anyway. Now, I briefly touched on the characters you play as through Sonic Adventure 2, but what makes them all special? Well, let's start with the heroes of our story. With the most obvious one up first, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. Even if you don't know much about video games in general, you know who Sonic is, one way or another. Fortunately or unfortunately. He's always looking for adventure, so it's no surprise the game's called Sonic Adventure 2. Battle. He's the main driving force of why I enjoy this game so much, to nobody's surprise. He's cool, he's quick, and he's funny. And honestly, do you need to be anything more than a cool and funny dude to be as likable as Sonic? I mean, look, characters like Sonichu exist. That's proof enough, alright? He's gotta be cool if people want to make their own versions of him.
Sonichu is the worst example.
So we know Sonic, but next we have Tails. His full name is Miles Tails Prowler. Seasoned Sonic fans already knew this, but it's cool to know. Anyway, Tails is one of Sonic's best friends, and he always makes stuff to help them out on their adventures most of the time. I like Tails because he embodies that creative aspect of figuring out how to solve problems you have through creation. Thinking outside of the box has its advantages. Yeah, he's a bushy-haired, bright-eyed kid who doesn't fully think every decision through before taking action, but you gotta admire the courage to try and keep up with the fastest dude known to man, and somehow managing for the most part. The last of the hero characters, we have Knuckles the Echidna. Knuckles is fly as hell, and anybody who tells you he isn't is a liar. I like, personally, how he contrasts Sonic and Tails by instead brute force facing his problems head on. The man just knows what he wants, and he will get it done. Not even a double-cross spy thief can get in his way. He's the lone wolf of the group because he's not with Sonic, Tails, and the team often. He just kind of does his job off on his own, which is protecting the Master Emerald most of the time. Which I enjoy about him, since he's just kind of doing his own thing, but also lends a helping hand when necessary. And that's the heroes of Sonic Adventure 2. Next up, we got the villains of Dark Story. And speaking of Dark, hey, Redman, you want to maybe say some stuff, you know? I kind of get this, feeling you want to weigh in right here, specifically.
Shadow the Hedgehog and Dr. Eggman are the best characters in the entire game.
I, don't disagree, but is there anything else you wanted to weigh in with?
No.
Okay, well... Shadow the Hedgehog is probably among one of my favorite characters of all time. Mainly because he's so unabashedly an edgelord. He doesn't care about anything other than revenge, and it's perfect in such a dorky way. How could you hate this guy? Like, for real, nothing beats Shadow, 100%, especially in Sonic Adventure 2. He's my favorite character in this game, for sure. Now, while Shadow might be my favorite, I think Dr. Eggman takes the cake as best villain of Dark Story. He's a character I don't have to say much about either. You probably know of him already. But what I can say is how stupid his plans are and that they somehow work. He's the funniest character because of the insane lengths he'll take things only to one-up himself later on. Like, trust me, it gets absurd. The last character you could play as in Sonic Adventure 2 is Rouge. Rouge is...
Holy! Put those things away, will you, ma'am? Jeez!
Speaking of absurd, who thought it was a good idea to give Rouge such huge boobs? And how did they get away with it in an E-rated game? They bounce. They have physics. Ignoring that, though, Rouge is a spy and doesn't side with Shadow and Eggman initially. She eventually partners with them as it makes her job easier. Her job being stealing jewels and all that kind of stuff. And I do like her as a character because it's an interesting caveat to also have a lone wolf character on the other side of the story that is way different from Knuckles. Well, as a character, not mechanically. And that's all 6 playable characters of Sonic Adventure 2. It's a good thing I can't even say one of them is a bad character because I like all of them. So now it's time we talk about how do they fit into the gameplay? How does their gameplay differ from one another? I guess it's time we discuss how the characters feel and play. The main goal of all missions, regardless of type, is complete the level as fast as possible, and you'll be given a rank based on what your score is by the end of the level too. But there are other things to help boost your score. Collecting rings gives score both immediately and at the end of the level based on how many you still have. And power-ups make the level or sections much easier. There's also combos and point modifiers, which change depending on what character archetype you are. For action stages, if you use a homing air attack on an enemy and chain it into more enemies without touching the ground, it'll increase your combo and give you a score based on how good of a combo you got. For mech stages, if you chain a bunch of homing rockets on a large group of enemies in quick succession, it again will increase your combo for every enemy marked, and give you more points based on how big your combo was. For hunting stages, there actually isn't any combos you can get, but rather you get a point boost based on how quickly you find the emeralds or keys. Getting combos or those point boosts is the most reliable way of getting a good rank aside from a fast time level completion. The gameplay isn't too much more complicated than that, though it can be janky at times. It's very precise, and that's for both good and bad. And there's some weird hitching that can occur with the characters, namely around slopes and curved platforms, and the characters don't accurately move in the direction of your joysticks when they're on sloped surfaces. Now, all that doesn't sound too bad, but during gameplay it can really throw you off or irritate you, and I don't think it's a big deal unless you're going for A rank, the highest obtainable rank. That's when it can be frustrating to encounter the jankier bits of Sonic Adventure 2. Still, even if it can be frustrating sometimes, I always find myself coming back and playing Sonic Adventure 2 from time to time. The gameplay of all 3 mission types usually groups me pretty well, all throughout the Hero and the Dark Story, and helps to keep things fresh and not overdone. Well, with a few exceptions. I'm looking at you, back-to-back-to-back Eggman segment. So to stop myself from rambling on about jankiness more, let's quickly look at the way each type of gameplay, plays. Starting with action stages, with Sonic and Shadow. It's the main style of gameplay for a Sonic game. You go fast, collect some rings, and charge some enemies along your path, trying to beat the level as fast as possible. A bit basic, but it really is the bread and butter of Sonic games. And it really works well here. Every action stage is memorable in some capacity, and they each have neat things they do apart from each other to not just be holding the stick forward and jumping. Some stages rely on gimmicks, and some rely on how well you can chain air attacks, or how good are you at landing on grind rails. They're pretty easy to complete, but hard to get A rank on, and that's kind of what I love about them so much. Next up, we got the mech stages. You've still got to be fast in these levels, well, as fast as the mech will let you, but they are slower paced than action stages in that you lock on and shoot enemies with your rockets, and you platform around more vertical spaces. I do think at some points in the game they bombard you with too many of these stages so close together, but they are still nice and break up the action stages pretty nicely. Mech stages also slightly change up their own gameplay from time to time too, by making you press buttons to make progress in some levels, or clearing out all enemies in a room before you can progress. But more often than not, you're just blowing up dudes and rushing the exit, which is still a lot of fun in most of the stages. Lastly, there's hunting stages, which mix up the usual of the gameplay for the other two types. Your goal is always to find 3 emeralds or keys to finish the level, with a little indicator at the bottom telling you if you're close to one. There's not a whole lot of variety in these types of levels, but they are a lot more about exploration than the other stages are. And it's nice being more free and able to move around the level at your own pace and not follow a linear path, but instead checking every corner for an emerald or key with your little indicator. Some of my favorite levels in the game are hunting stages, and honestly, they're a great addition that sadly I don't think has ever made a return in a Sonic game. A real shame, as these and mech stages really keep the feel of the game fresh. With that, we've looked at all 3 styles of gameplay for Sonic Adventure 2. Action, mech, and hunting stages. And them being mixed pretty evenly over the course of either story really helps keep you invested and makes you want to continue progressing or going back to replay levels for a better rank. However, there's actually a 4th style of gameplay, one that connects to every level in the entire game. So, what exactly is it then? It's the Chao Garden. Chao Garden is a hub world that can be accessed by collecting Chao keys hidden throughout each level. To unlock a character for use in Chao Garden, you need to first find at least one of those keys as that character, and then Chao Garden can be accessed as that character from the level select. Chao Garden is accessible from the level select upon finding at least one key, but you can only select characters that you've previously unlocked Chao Garden with. So what is Chao Garden exactly? Well, the first half of gameplay in Sonic Adventure 2 is when you play the missions and continue the story, or try to complete levels for better ranks. Chao Garden is the second half of the gameplay in Sonic Adventure 2, where you can take a breather and kind of relax, raising your Chao. When you first enter the garden, there's 2 giant eggs. You can simply take care of them, or wait for them and they'll hatch into little Chao children.
Or throw them at the wall and force them out.
No, we don't do that here.
Everyone else does it. It's faster and therefore better.
Yeah, and I like the Chao, so I'm not gonna go around abusing them.
Then you're weak, and it only proves further that I am better at the game.
Are you saying throwing children at walls indicates player skill?
It's faster and lets you obtain everything you need quicker. So yes, abusing children makes you better at the game.
That is the weirdest flex I've ever heard for being better at a game. Genuinely.
That is because simply, I am better.
Yeah. Sure. Whatever. So, back to the topic. Chao Garden and normal gameplay actually intertwine pretty commonly to make the first and second half of gameplay meet. And when you're playing levels, the robot enemies you defeat, they all drop these colored cores, called Chaos Drives, that upgrade Chao in different ways, from swim, fly, run, power, and stamina. However, stamina can only be raised by feeding them food either found within the garden or you buy it from the black market in the Chao kindergarten. Then there's animals that can also be found within levels that give stat upgrades to your Chao and can even change how your Chao looks. When they initially hatch, they start as baby Chao, and then they grow up to be toddlers and eventually all the way to adults. Your Chao are persistent, and as such, will continuously grow as you play through Hero and the Dark Story, as you give them animals, chaos drives, and simply just hanging out with them. Your Chao will change depending on how you raise them. The way they change is based on their main stat or stats. So, for example, you could have a full power Chao. Or, if you gave them a mixture of two different stats, they could be a fly swim Chao. On top of that, who you raise them as also affects if they'll become a hero Chao, a dark Chao, or an equal amount of both, a neutral Chao. The actual Chao raising mechanics in Sonic Adventure 2 are insanely detailed and intricate, and there's a whole wiki page dedicated just to the Chao Garden because it can get so complicated at times. It's why I consider it a gameplay mode all on its own. It's also why Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite games, is because no other game lets me raise something nearly as sophisticated as the Chao systems. When your Chao does become an adult, that's when they'll mature and become one of the aforementioned hero, dark, or neutral Chaos. If they're a hero or dark Chao specifically, you can unlock two new Chao Gardens. The Hero Gardens, a heavenly place that's set way in the sky, and is very serene and calming. There's also trees here that let you feed your Chao hero fruits that typically don't grow normally. And then there's the counterpart, the Dark Gardens, an evil, foreboding place in a dark, desolate forest that has blood water. It's cool.
The best garden.
It also has trees that let you feed your Chao dark fruits instead. Now, both gardens aren't exactly game-changing by any means, but they're these really cool places not only to unlock, but hang out with your Chao in. Because they really nail the atmosphere in both of these gardens. So why does it matter if you raise a Chao and give it all these stats? There's a secret path behind the waterfall in the Chao Garden that leads to either Chao Racing or Chao Karate. Both are mini-games that require you to level up your Chao's different stats so that they can compete and win prizes and emblems, which are needed for 100% completion of Sonic Adventure 2. Chao Racing is pretty straightforward. You select a Chao, then a race, and then you watch them compete. You can rally them by pressing the A button on an Xbox controller to make them speed up and move faster for a time, but it eats a significant amount of their stamina. The stats actually affect how fast they are at the different things in the race. Power makes them climb walls faster, fly makes them fly faster and farther, and so on. And stamina is how much they can exert total before they get tired and just stop trying and give up. Different races require the different stats, so you'll want to level each stat accordingly for the different challenges. And it's very rewarding to level a Chao all game long, and then watch them win it big at the races after you've invested so much time and effort into those little guys. Then there's Chao Karate. You still spectate like in Chao Racing, but the main difference is your stamina bar is much smaller and called the Zeal Meter. When it runs out, your Chao falls asleep and you can mash the A button on an Xbox controller to cheer them on and wake them up. I feel like something I probably should have mentioned by now is that you can actually play local multiplayer with Chao Racing and in Chao Karate. Which actually makes me raise a question. You want to do some Chao Karate, Redman? Yeah, don't worry. I kind of figured that would be the response. What about you, Lobo? Yeah, alright. Come here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, the different stats are actually a bit different this time for Chao Karate. Swim is defense, fly is dodge chance, run is how often they'll attack, power is how much damage they do and how far they'll knock back their opponent, and stamina is their health bar. Chao Karate, just like Chao Racing, gives you emblems for completing the different difficulties, each one consisting of 5 fights in a row. There isn't much to Chao Karate really, other than getting the emblems and fighting in local multiplayer. But it's still a cool addition to the Chao Garden minigames. And I've spent many hours over the years having our own Chao battle it out either against the different difficulties or locally. Because it was just fun watching what all our Chao on that original GameCube save data could do to each other and to the competition. The last area of the Chao Gardens and Hub World is the Chao Kindergarten. The Kindergarten is a place where you can take your Chao for a variety of different things, like the classroom to learn new things like singing, dancing, or even playing instruments. Next is the principal, who will tell you various tips and tricks about the Chao Garden and raising Chao and other stuff like that. There's also the clinic where you can go check on your Chao's statistics and see things like what their attitude and favorite food is. Then we have the fortune teller, who will give your Chao a name, or let you name it yourself if you dislike her names. And finally, the black market, where you can buy tools, food, hats, and even Chao eggs of various colors with rings you collect within the levels. There is more I want to talk about regarding the Chao Garden. A lot more, actually. And all the silly little things you can achieve or do. But I think you should find out for yourself about some of those intricacies. Which wraps up all I have to say about gameplay. Now, we move on to the next topic, which is a little shorter. It's the music. And of course, the story. Yep, this is the part you've been waiting for, Redman.
It is.
Before we delve into story, I at least want to mention one last important bit of Sonic Adventure 2 for me, and it's the music. The music has played an integral part of why I love this game so much, even all these years later. Most of the tracks are just so good, and not only keep the energy of whatever level you're playing going, but are recognizable too, and makes the levels they're from even more memorable than they were before. My favorite Shadow track is actually White Jungle, because it perfectly encapsulates Shadow the Hedgehog and stands out because he's an aforementioned edgelord. So having a dark, industrial type song in a forest that doesn't fit is somehow the perfect fit for the situation and the character. Then there's my favorite Sonic track, which is obvious as City Escape, because it really just sets the tone for the entire game. The music is part of the Sonic Adventure 2 experience, and in my opinion, City Escape is just one of the best tracks on the soundtrack. Also, there was this one time, like 10 or 15 years ago, me and a friend were being driven home from GameStop by his mom, and he started singing City Escape on the way home. I joined in, and we both started singing it in tandem the entire ride home. It was a hilarious experience. Another thing I used to do was, me and my sister used to use the sound test about 21 years ago or so. Jesus. We would select a song, and then we would run in circles. And what this would do is, quote-unquote, transport us into an imaginative world of our creation. And the music helped immerse us further. My point is, the music here has memory to me, it has meaning to me, and it fits well for what they use it for. Overall, the music is very good, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Okay, we're here. The plot of Sonic Adventure 2 at last.
It's about time. I've been wanting to discuss the story.
Thought you wanted to talk about Dark Story.
I'll be explaining the entire plot. This is where spoilers come in. Leave now if you're too weak for spoilers.
Or just skip ahead, it's fine.
It begins with Sonic the Hedgehog being accused of stealing a Chaos Emerald from the city and is arrested, but he breaks out and escapes. He then meets the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog, who stole the emerald with ease, and leaves Sonic to be apprehended by the police once again. Sometime before these events, Dr. Eggman hears about Project Shadow and goes to find what it is. He finds Shadow the Hedgehog, the ultimate life form. After freeing Shadow, he invites him aboard the Ark, an abandoned space research facility they'll use together to obtain world domination. Aboard the Ark, Shadow explains the Eclipse cannon in the Ark to Eggman and how it can be used to make the world theirs. All they need are the 7 Chaos Emeralds. As they speak, they get a visitor, Rouge the Bat, who snuck aboard a teleporter from Eggman's hidden base. Eggman orders Rouge to retrieve the missing emeralds. All 3 of them go to Prison Island, where Sonic is imprisoned, to steal the Chaos Emeralds in the area. But Sonic is freed. After obtaining the emeralds they sought, Eggman calls to blow up the entire island and the surrounding area to rid of that blasted blue menace. Returning with the emeralds, they then demonstrate the power of the Eclipse cannon. By blowing up part of the moon, the world is shown they have 24 hours to bend their knee to Eggman and Shadow, or suffer the same fate. As they continue their search for that 7th emerald capable of destroying the planet. Meanwhile, Sonic and his compatriots infiltrate Eggman's hidden base and find his rocket and fly up to the space colony Ark, confronting Eggman and Shadow. They all fight each other in space in the Ark, and the final battle commences. Sonic destroys the Eclipse cannon after his fight with Shadow, and even though Tails defeats Eggman, he didn't realize that he inserted the final 7th emerald into the console, activating what Eggman thought would be his victory, but instead activated a program made by his grandfather that sends the Ark flying towards Earth, destroying both the Ark and Earth. Knuckles reunites with Sonic after his fight with Rouge. Then everyone from both sides come up with a plan to stop the Ark from colliding with Earth. Everyone goes to the cannon's core to prevent the Ark from falling, but Shadow stays behind. They make it to the central of the cannon's core, and they get ready to use the Master Emerald to nullify the Chaos Emeralds. But they're cut off by something else entirely. Another ultimate life form, the Bio-Lizard. Shadow decides to arrive and tells Sonic and Knuckles to go use the Master Emerald while he holds back this monster. Ultimate life form versus ultimate life form. Shadow defeats the Bio-Lizard, and Knuckles goes to stop the Chaos Emeralds from powering the Ark with the Master Emerald. However, after being defeated by Shadow, the Bio-Lizard uses Chaos Control to fuse with the entire station, becoming the final hazard, keeping the Ark on its path towards Earth.
There is so much happening, and with not much coherency. But that's exactly what I love about the story to Sonic Adventure 2. There is absolutely no rhyme or reason for anything at all. They just kind of do stuff because.
With no other options, Sonic and Shadow use the Chaos Emeralds to become Super Sonic and Super Shadow in an effort to fight off the final hazard and to prevent the Ark from crashing into Earth.
Actually, have you ever beat Sonic Adventure 2, Redman?
What kind of stupid question is that?
I was just curious. You missed some details earlier, like when Sonic and Tails interrupt the president.
I fully beat the game, unlike yourself.
Yeah,
I've beat him before.
Prove it. Beat the final hazard then.
Okay, I will. Fine, he's almost done. Okay, I got this.
Hey! I knew you couldn't do it. Hand it over. I'll show you how it's done.
Okay, you try.
This isn't even difficult. You're making this more difficult for your video. Look at this.
I merely had a bad try. Give me another go.
Hang on. What if we can't do this alone?
What do you mean?
What if we gotta do this one together? Like Sonic and Shadow.
You have a Chaos Emerald?
I do. So what do you say? Just this once?
Just this once.
Okay. What?
Nothing.
Are you ready? Let's finish this.
Let's finish this.
Alright, I guide.
And I'll hit him.
I'm sending it. Get it in.
Got it.
Good stuff, good stuff. Bringing this one in, bring it in, come in.
Got it.
This is giving me a little bit of issue. Okay, in there. Go, now.
Got him. This is too easy.
Clear shot.
It's mine.
We almost got this.
Punch it in.
Last one, Redman.
We've got it. Yeah! Yes!
Yeah! Yes! That was great. You didn't do too bad yourself, Redman.
Don't think we're friends all of a sudden. I'm not going to be bested by you. Come and face me in the battle mode.
You still want to butt heads with me, even after all that? Okay. Battle mode it is.
I will win.
Battle Mode is the local multiplayer version of Sonic Adventure 2. In here, you can fight against another player as either action characters, mech characters, or hunting characters. You can even choose Chao Racing and Chao Karate, and Kart Racing. You're given multiplayer-specific maps and modes curated purely for multiplayer. Choose your character type, then you choose your character, then you choose your stage, and then you battle. Give me your best, man.
Fool, I'm not going to lose to you.
Oh, that's rough.
This isn't possible.
Listen, man, like, you sure? You sure you want?
I'm not going to lose.
Hey guy, let's play again.
I'm not. I won't allow this.
Whoa! Robo? Yeah, I'm okay. What's the matter, man? No. No, I don't think he's dead. I think we'll be seeing him again soon. Thanks for watching the video. I am very happy that you made it this far. And I'm sorry it took so long for the video to come out. There's a lot that I got into, a lot that I did, and just a really big creative block, especially for this episode. I'm not really sure why. It's weird. But I hope the next episode doesn't take this long. And again, I'm very thankful that you made it this far to the end of the video. I do deeply appreciate that. And so does Wobo. So, yeah. With that said, later, gamers.